Ni Max.
And then, yeah.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. Give me one. Give me one. Give me one. Give me one. Give me one.
I have seen very good efforts with the government. Like I said, there is now national awareness about the prevalence of alcohol and drug abuse in the country. Everyone seems to be aware, and people are doing their part. The agencies, the chiefs, and all, they are doing their part to fight this menace, because it has been, people have been made aware. And one of the good things that have happened recently is the amendment of the Mental Health Act 2022. Because the Mental Health Act, the amended act, is the one which has correctly placed alcohol and drug abuse where it belongs, because it calls it by name that it is a mental health issue. It is a mental illness. And once you place a condition correctly, then even the management of that condition will be done correctly. Because if it is a mental health illness, then it has to be managed as such that even organizations have to have policies of managing that in their organizations. For example, giving people sick leave to go for rehabilitation. And I've seen many organizations, many people who come here, they are on paid sick leave, such that they are not struggling even to pay the fees, because they are on salary even as they go through rehabilitation. Another thing that the Mental Health Act has done is to give recommendations of how a mental health facility should be, the standards, meaning that even what I talked about, the restoration of human dignity, it is being enforced by the Mental Health Act. And that is what the Board for Mental Health is supposed to be, to inspect all the facilities and ensure that people are being treated with dignity, whether they are going through mental illness or addiction. So the standards, so once you establish that alcohol and drug abuse is a mental illness, and which has to be treated in a mental health facility, then even the rehabilitation centers have to up their game so that they measure up to the standards that have been recommended by the Mental Health Act. And that is about ensuring that people are being treated professionally, they are being treated with dignity. The Mental Health Act has also established who are the personnel that should be attending to people who are in a mental health facility. And that is where we talk about a multidisciplinary approach, so that we have psychiatrists, we have psychologists, we have psychiatric nurses, we have, we have all these professionals to ensure that every aspect that takes people into a mental health facility is being attended to. And then the best thing that has happened is the establishment of the Kenya Board for Mental Health, which is also a result of the Mental Health Act. This board is coming back after a long time. We have not had a board for mental health for a long time, and for the first time we have that board that is supposed to now inspect the facilities, advise the government about access to mental health facilities, and ensure that the standards that have been recommended by this act are being adhered to, and also to fight stigma, because once we call a disease by its name, then we reduce the stigma that people have towards the disease. Because by now, we are making people aware that when you see someone who has an addiction, it is not a weakness of character. It is because maybe someone is struggling with another underlying condition, like like we talked about depression. But this person is feeling sad, they are feeling hopeless, and the moment they take something, it makes them feel happy again. So it's not a weakness of character. It may be just because of the family that someone is coming from, because it can be a hereditary disease. Addiction can happen because of the, the family of origin, or what we call the genetic loading. So once we are able to educate people why people get into addiction, then the stigma reduces and people are able even to take their people instead of hiding them. Because we have families that have, their children or their husbands or their wives who have an addiction, and they make sure they keep that issue under lock and key. But once you understand that this is an illness like any other, then you help the person to access professional help. And we say that people do recover from addiction. Although sometimes people may go through the cycle that we call the cycle of change, we have that final, place that we call the permanent exit. People do permanently exit from addiction, but that is through, professional help, through family support, sometimes even through medication, like we have said. So this is what we are doing as a, mental health practitioners, ensuring that every space we have, every forum we have, we are educating people about issues of mental health, and also helping people understand that help is available.
This information flows freely to the public. I think when the government puts such measures, it's going to boost sensitization, so in which will actually make people to reduce even the stigma. Because currently, when you tell people you're going to rehab, people think you are mentally ill or you are mad or something. But when this information gets down to the local people through the measures the government can put in place, definitely we are going to reach a lot of people, and we are going to save this nation from drowning in drugs and alcohol.
Ningewaomba tu kila mtu ajue ati ako kwa rehab kwa sababu ako na ugonjwa wake binafsi, si ati tuko wagonjwa wote the same disease. Ni jukumu la kila mtu ajue kwamba alikuja siku yake peke yake na atatoka siku yake peke yake, na amefaidika kwa rehab kutokana na nini, ndiye ata give back to the society nini, ama yeye atakuwa tu ni deni ya society.
I want to promise myself that alcohol will not define me and control me. Yeah. Tasting it, I most likely think I will have steak that was marinated by wine. But anyway, my being here, I would like not to let alcohol be the control. Yes, I'd like to continue with I'm very passionate about cooking, and I'm an entertainer, music and arts and graphics. I'm a creative artist. So I would like to kind of leave now like a footprint when I'm done with life in the cooking industry, children and music.
The day before nikuja hapa nilikuwa nimepost venye nimesema, nilikuwa nimepost drama mtaa, nilikuwa nimesumbua watu. So ndo the next day nilikuwa nimepata hii job fulani. Sasa nilikuwa I think just a week old in that place of work. Na nilikuja hapa, nililetwa hapa, I was seeking for professional help, that's a professional therapist, at least nipate mtu mwenye atanielewa from my own point of view. Nilikuwa napata huko mtaa watu wenye walikuwa wanakuja mtaa kujaribu kuwa mediators between me and my parents, walikuwa ya wazae sana. So mimi niliambiwa tu hapa ndo nitapata usaidizi, nikakaa. Mimi sikuwa najua nitakaa hapa 3 months. So definitely nilifeel ambushed, nilifeel sasa manze job ndio hiyo, nilikuwa nimepata tu job na hiyo ndio ilikuwa imenipa stress. So sasa nimepata job, sasa nimekuja hapa nafaa kukaa 3 months, nitaambia watu nini job, alafu tena pia niko na busy yangu nitaendelesha aje. Yeah, so kuko hapa tunakuanga na like counseling sessions, na family pia inaitwa hapa kukuwa na a family therapy. So I'm grateful for my counselor, he goes by the name Emmanuel. Ametuma nione like life from a different perspective, yani like ametuma nielewe, yani naangalia wazazi wangu tuko na hiyo generational difference.